Good evening, everyone. I hope you've all had a lovely, lovely day. It's not been as sunny, but it's still just as nice in Burnt Island. Burnt Island, I think, is always warm because it's got the warmth of community and the warmth of our friendship. So that's great. Now, I brought Angus, my bear, with me tonight because he's been missing out on stories because last night there was lots of dogs here instead. So Angus is going to sit up here on my desk and listen to story. Now, the reason I am doing story time from my desk with a schooly background in behind is because tonight our story is all about a school. Now, I brought along my badge to show you. Look, that's my badge. It says I'm the head teacher of Burnt Island Primary School. And that is a job that I absolutely love. And I am so lucky to be able to do that job. I love it. I love my job as head teacher, and I am so lucky to have all of you as my children. So tonight's story, is all about a very different kind of school, although there's some similarities. And I want you to be thinking, as we read along, about what kind of school we have. Are we like one of the schools in the story, or are we like the other school in the story? And then maybe afterwards, you could be designing what you think the perfect school would be looking like, and that would be really helpful for when we go back. And you can always send me your ideas by email or by popping them in the box. Right, so this story is by Dr. Seuss, and it is called Hooray for Diffendoofer Day. Now, Dr. Seuss, you might know, is very famous for doing lots of stories, writing lots of stories, and they all rhyme. And he did The Cat in the Hat and all of these ones. And he wrote them and did all the pictures by himself. But this book is a wee bit different because when Dr. Seuss passed away, people found bits of this book in his house. So he hadn't ever finished this book. So Jack Prilutsky and Lane Smith finished it for him. So he used some of his own drawings and some of his own words, and then they finished off the rest. And I love it. It's one of my favourite books, and I've read it to lots of children over all my years of teaching. And tonight's one is dedicated to Mrs. Clooney, because Mrs. Clooney knows that this is one of my favourites, and I gave her this book as a present a few years ago. So here we go. And here we go. It's the story of Diffendoofer Day. I've always lived in Dinkerville. My friends all live here too. We go to Diffendoofer School. We're happy that we do. Our school is at the corner of Dinkzuber and Dinkzot. It looks like any other school, but we suspect it's not. I think we're learning lots of things not taught at other schools. Our teachers are remarkable. They make up their own rules. Miss Bobble teaches listening. Miss Wobble teaches smelling. Miss Fribble teaches laughing. And Miss Quibble teaches yelling. Miss Twinning teaches tying knots in neckerchiefs and noodles, and how to tell chrysanthemums from miniature poodles. Miss Vinning teaches all the ways a pigeon may be peppered, and how to put a saddle on a lizard or a leopard. My teacher is Miss Bonkers. She's as bouncy as can be. I'm not certain what she teaches, but I'm glad she teaches me. Look, look, she chirps. I'll show you how to tell a cactus from a cow. And then I shall instruct you why a hippo cannot hope to fly. She even teaches frogs to dance and pigs to put on underpants. One day she taught a duck to sing. Miss Bonkers teaches everything. Of all the teachers in our school, I like Miss Bonkers best. Our teachers are all different, but she is differenter than the rest. We also have a principal. His name is Mr. Lowe. He is the very saddest man that any of us know. He mumbles, "Are they learning? This and that and such and such." His face is wrinkled as a prune from worrying so much. He breaks a lot of pencils from pushing down so hard, and many dogs start barking, "Uff," as he mopes around the yard. We think he wears false eyebrows. In fact, we're sure it's so. We've heard he takes them off at night. We're sure we'll never know. But we know he likes Miss Bonkers. He treats her like a queen, and he's always there to watch her when she's on the trampoline. There are many other people who make Diffendoofer run. They are utterly amazing. I love every single one. Our nurse, Miss Clot, knows what to do when we've got sniffles or the flu. One day I had a splinter, so she bandaged me from head to toe. Mr. Plunger, our janitor, has an old-fashioned machine, a super zuper flooper do, and it keeps the whole school clean. Our music teacher, Mrs. Fox, makes bagpipes out of straws and socks, and our art instructor, Mr. Bees, paints pictures hanging by his knees. In science class with Mr. Katz, we learn to build robotic rats. In gym, we watch as Mr. Bear hoists elephants into the air. Miss Loon is our librarian. She hides behind the shelves and often shouts out "louder" when we're reading to ourselves. We have 3 cooks, all named McMunch, who merrily prepare our lunch. They make us hot dogs, beans and fries, and things we do not recognise. And as they cook, they sing their song, not too short and not too long. Roast and toast and slice and dice. Cooking lunch is oh so nice. We were eating their concoctions, telling drinks and making noise, when Mr. Lowe appeared and howled, "Attention, girls and boys!" He began to fuss and fidget, scratch and mutter, sneeze and cough. He shook his head so hard we thought his eyebrows would come off. He wrung his hands, he cleared his throat, and he shed a single tear, and then he sobbed, "I've something to announce, and that is why I'm here. All schools for miles and miles around must take a special test to see who's learning such and such, and to see which school is best. If our small school does not do well, then it will be torn down, and you will have to go to school in dreary Flobbertown." "Not Flobbertown!" we shouted as we shuddered at the name, for everyone in Flobbertown did everything the same. It's miserable in Flobbertown. They dress in just one style, they sing one song and they never dance, and they march in single file. They do not have a playground, they do not have a park, their lunches have no taste at all, and their dogs are scared to bark. Miss Bonkers rose. "Don't fret," she said. "You've learned the things you need to pass that test and many more. I'm certain you'll succeed. We've taught you that the earth is round, that red and white make pink, and something else that matters more. We've taught you how to think." "Oh, I hope you're right," sighed Mr. Lowe, and he shed another tear. "The test is in 10 minutes and you've to take it right here." We sat in shock and disbelief. "Oh no," we moaned, "oh no." And we were even more unhappy than unhappy Mr. Lowe. But then the test was handed out. "Yahoo!" we cried, "Yahoo!" For it was filled with lots of things that we all knew we knew. There were questions about noodles, about poodles, frogs and yelling, and about listening and laughing and chrysanthemums and smelling. There were questions about other things we'd never seen or heard, and yet we somehow answered them, enjoying every word. 1 week later, after playtime, Mr. Lowe meandered in, and we'd never seen him smile before, but this time he had a grin. He soon began to giggle, and then it grew by half, and then it really happened. Mr. Lowe began to laugh. "You've saved our school. You've saved our school," he jubilantly roared. "We've got the very highest score." Oh, and he wrote it on the board. Miss Bonkers did some cartwheels, and her face turned cherry red. She bounded up to Mr. Lowe and kissed him on the head. "Hooray! Hooray!" she shouted. "I am so proud I cannot speak." And she did another cartwheel, and she kissed him on the cheek. Coughed Mr. Lowe. "You all deserve a bow. I thus declare a holiday, and it starts exactly now. Because you've done so splendidly in every sort of way, this day forever shall be known as Diffendoofer Day. And furthermore, I promise I won't ever wear a frown, for now I know we'll never go to dreary Flobbertown." Then we held a celebration. There was pizza, milk and cake, and like everyone, I ate too much and got a bellyache. We laughed and whooped and hollered, and the entire school day long. And then we all sang triumphantly the Diffendoofer song. There you go. There they all are. "We love you, Diffendoofer School, we definitely do. There surely is no other school that's anything like you. You're gribulous, you're globulous, each day we love you more. You are the school we treasure, that we love and we adore. Oh, finest school in Dinkerville, the only one as well. We love you, Diffendoofer School, much more than we can tell. You are so diffendooferous, it gives us joy to say. 3 cheers for Diffendoofer School. Hooray, hooray, hooray." Now, one of the things I love about that story is that the teachers really help the children to learn to think. And because they can think and stretch their brains, they're able to tackle anything. And I would like to think that's what we do in Burnt Island. It's really important to learn and stick in and know how to read and write and do your computing and look after yourselves. These things are super important. But it's really important, as we tell you, about learning our learning powers. To be resilient, to be resourceful, to use reflectiveness. And come on, what's the 4th one? Can you remember? Yes, that's right. Oh, did I say resilient? I think I did. Resilient, resourceful, reflective, and reciprocal. You've got to be reciprocal, which means you're sharing things with one another. It's come and go. And using your learning powers and growing your brains and stretching all the time just helps us all develop as good human beings that can contribute to the world. That was a long story tonight. Hope I've given you some things to think about. And maybe, like I said at the beginning, you could be thinking about designing your own school and drawing some pictures about what your own school would look like if you were in charge. Or maybe you need to just be thinking about what our school might look like when we come back. Please send your photos in, send your stories in, and keep connected. Night-night, everyone. Night-night.